Hello there, Pokemon fans, and welcome to our How to Best Use in Kanto. And this is going to be our Squirtle edition. So in this video, we're going to go through how to best use Squirtle, Wordle, and Blastoise in the best way you possibly can. So, for those of you that aren't familiar with this series, it's a little bit different than some of the other ones you may have seen out there. In this series, we're not looking to build the best team possible for each region. We're not we're not basically trying to figure out how Squirtle or Wordle or Blastoise best fits into a team. Basically, just in a vacuum, we're looking at the best way to use Blastoise and Squirtle and Wordle, as if almost you were going to use them for an entire run through as your only Pokemon. So without further ado, let's get going here and take a look. Now, in this series, we're only really looking at how Squirtle, Wordle, and Blastoise does in generations 1, 2, and 3, just because those are the regions that Kanto is really featured in, and that is sort of Squirtle's native region, so to speak. So in generation 1, you can of course pick Squirtle as a starter, and that's the same in Generation 3 in the Fire Red and Leaf Green remakes. In Generation 2, you can't catch Squirtle, but since a significant portion of that game does focus on the Kanto region, we're going to go through Squirtle there as well. So just a quick look here at all Blastoise stats. You can see overall we're pretty well rounded, just like the other starters, but where Blastoise really shines is in our defense and special defense. We're a little bit of a bulky Pokemon. We can really take a hit, which is good. Our attack is okay, and our special attack as well is pretty strong. Our hit points and speed are sort of so-so. You will be able to outspeed a few Pokemon, but it's really not Blastoise's strong suit. So if we look at the moves here for Blastoise, this is really going to be where we work into how to best use Blastoise and how to really make Blastoise work for you. So in Generation 1, really there are not a lot of moves that you're going to want to teach Blastoise that are basically from our natural learn set. With that said, certainly as you're starting off, you are going to want to use things like Bubble and Water Gun, but really we're just going to try to replace those as soon as we can. So in Generation 1, again with our little bit of a limited move set here, what I would recommend is using Surf. And the reason I would say Surf over, say, a move like Hydro Pump, for instance, as your water move, is a solid base 95 power, but 100% accuracy, which is really going to come in handy. Hydro Pump just is not accurate enough to really make a living on using that. Another move that I think you really would want to add in would be something like Ice Beam as well, just because it will give us some pretty good coverage here. In Generation 1, there are not a lot of really good ice types, so that is definitely pretty helpful. You can always add in if you want something like Reflect, just to again really beef up those defensive stats, which are pretty helpful. Add in something like Strength, which is good. Again, it'll kind of act as sort of another HM that you don't need to teach to another Pokemon, but really you just want to build everything around Surf and Ice Beam, and whatever else you choose to run is fine. If you want to outfit Blastoise with something like Hyper Beam, that's great. If you want to put something like Bubble Beam in there as well, that's fine, but it's really going to be kind of redundant with Surf, but if you'd like to, you could. If you want to throw a strong ground type in, like Earthquake, never a bad idea. So again, Generation 1, we're a little bit limited, but again, Surf and Ice Beam is where we're really going to make our living here. Now in Generation 2, we start to get a little more of a diverse move set and a little more play with what we want to do. Again, our learn set by leveling up is not that impressive, with the exception of the move Bite. Bite is definitely going to be something you want on your team for Blastoise, just because in this generation, Psychics are still really tough to beat, and you really don't have a good opportunity to catch Dark types until the post game, unless you want to really grind and work gain an Umbreon before that. But really, using something like Bite is a very solid move. It's something you definitely want on your team. Ice Punch as well, kind of in Generation 2, will serve as sort of our stand-in for Ice Beam. Some people like to use Blizzard. That's okay, but again, our accuracy really kills us for something like Blizzard. So right now, again, Ice Punch and Bite would be our two solid starting points. What I like to do is take advantage of the Surf Rain Dance combo for Blastoise, just because Blastoise is strong enough that we can take a few hits. Defensively, it pays to set up something like Rain Dance and kind of play the long game with Blastoise a little bit. And then in Generation 3, again, we're looking at a pretty similar move pool here to Generation 2. A few differences, of course. Again, I would definitely recommend doing Bite, and again, that's probably about it from our Natural Learn set. Again, it's going to be really helpful with Psychics. It's going to, pull you through on some Ghost types too. And really, there's no move, or I should say, there's no type that Water is weak against that Dark will at least not inflict neutral damage against. So Bite is a really, really good choice. Ice Beam, again, back in this generation, you can use Ice Beam as a TM. I think that's a really good idea too. And then the Surf and Rain Dance combo I really like a lot. If you want to do Hail or something like that just to take a little toll on each turn, you could. Another thing I would do is before you get Surf, I would probably use Water Pulse as your main water move. It hits reasonably hard. It does have the chance to confuse, which is pretty nice. So again, with Blastoise here and all the other evolutions in the Squirtle line, we're going to focus on defense. We're going to try to set things up with things like Rain Dance to allow for multi-turn battles here where we know we can take a hit, and we might take a hit on that first turn, setting something like that up, but in the long run we're going to do pretty well. And again, avoiding things like Hydro Pump, which just really aren't that accurate, and instead using something like Surf, really good idea when you can. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like it and share it if you did enjoy this video. And stay tuned. Next time we're going to do our Charmander edition.